How do we make ice cream for people who have allergies? Well, sadly, we don't make it on the stone, but that's for your health. What I do is I take a fresh pan of ice cream from the back that hasn't been touched yet. Then I scoop out your ice cream, put it in the Cambro. Then it's time to get your toppings. You wanted Oreos and almonds. So we're gonna chop those together. I find it's easiest to use one hand for this instead of two hands like I normally do. But once that's chopped, folded all together, it's time to put it in the cup. Please just let me know if you have an allergy. I don't mind doing this at all. So many of you want to know what the Lucky Charms ice cream tastes like, and I do too. I've only had samples of it, so let's make this signature. It starts off with the Lucky Charm ice cream. I'm a little rusty on throwing ice cream, so I had to practice a little bit. I did drop the first one, I'll be honest. Once that's on the stone, we're gonna add some whipped topping, and then we're gonna add our marshmallows. You're supposed to add 2 portions of marshmallows. I think that was about 2 portions. Now it's time to chop, fold that all together. Once we get it all together, we're gonna hug it into our ball, and then we're gonna get our spade wet so we can throw it up into the cup. If you don't get your spade wet, it'll probably plop on the ground, and it's not a good time. Then we're gonna finish this off with some edible gold glitter. If you wanna see me try it, I'm gonna go live right now and eat some of it, because yesterday we hit 7.5 million. That's absolutely insane, so thank you to each and every one of you. This is my first cake order here in Largo. So guys, if you want to order cake, I have a link in my bio. Try to order it as soon as possible. Also, I'm gonna make a Lucky Charms cake, so spam Lucky Charms in the comments and I'll pick one of you guys to reply with the video. This cake is called the Midnight Delight. It's chocolate ice cream with chocolate shavings, with chocolate cake with chocolate fudge in the middle, then more chocolate ice cream with chocolate shavings, and then another layer of chocolate cake. Then we drizzle it with even more chocolate because we coat it with our fudge ganache. Peep that giant ladle. Don't forget to smooth off the excess. Then we're gonna crush up some chocolate shavings and then add those all along the side. Since these are people from TikTok, they wanted me to write "Your fan from TikTok" on top. Thanks so much for the cake order, and I still can't believe. This is insane. It was just last night when we hit 7.5, and now we hit 7.6. And as promised, here's our Lucky Charms cake. It starts off with Lucky Charms ice cream we mix the marshmallows into. There's some beautiful Florida in the background for you. And you guys always want to see on the inside of the cake, so I went ahead and cut this one open to show it to you before I decorated it. You can see all the Lucky Charms ice cream and the Lucky Charms inside, and then the yellow cake. No, don't worry, we don't separate out every single marshmallow. They come separated for us. Then it's time to plop some of that green frosting on top. I normally call it fluffy frosting, but today this is green goopy frosting. I don't know why it was giving me so much trouble, but we made it work. We're all good. Then it was time to add some of the marshmallows around the side. Once those are all on, I'm gonna go ahead and add some whipped topping on top and then some edible gold glitter. I hit my limit on comment responses on my own videos today, so I apologize if I'm not responding. But seriously, thank you guys so much. I'm absolutely mind blown because if you've never had ice cream at Cold Stone, then you probably don't know that they name everything super weird things. Our combinations are things like this. This one is the founder's favorite, which is pretty tame for some of the names that we have. But over the years, I've heard all kinds of crazy things come out of customers' mouths. I've had people call this the founding fathers. I could make a whole series about all the weird things that customers have called our ice creams. And if you made it to the end, you're on Team Barbara. She got the founder's favorite, but she had it made with banana ice cream. But do I ever drop ice cream? Yes. Do customers ever drop ice cream? Yes. But what's the fun in not trying? If you're seeing this one first, you're on Team Karen. We're gonna chop, fold our ice cream all together. And the good old Florida humidity was really scaring me right here because look how sticky the ice cream is. But we made it work, and she still caught it, but I know you're still gonna ask me. Since yesterday, I got a couple more cake orders. For this one, I taught Emmy, one of the employees here in Largo, how to decorate cakes. One of the #1 mistakes that people make is they try to butter their cake like bread, like that. You never want your spatula to actually touch the cake. You want to push the frosting along the cake. It's such a simple thing, but it'll make a huge difference, especially if you're used to having tons of crumbs that end up in your frosting. Once we had all the frosting out, it was time to add our sprinkles to the side and then our rosettes on top. They wanted Oreos, so I was going to cut 3 Oreos in half and add the 6 halves to the top. It's absolutely insane, but 2 days ago, I was only at 7.5 million followers. But in the last 2 days, we made 200,000 new friends. Thank you guys so much for 7.7. Even though you asked nicely, I'm going to politely decline your request for me to stop throwing ice cream. And instead, we're going to throw this giant ball of ice cream for a cake. They wanted sweet cream, which is my favorite, with Kit Kats chopped in. Which, fun fact, this used to be one of my favorite combinations at Cold Stone as a kid. Then we're going to throw that in our pan and then flatten it out. Then it's time to add our first layer of yellow cake and then a layer of fudge. Then it's time to smooth that all out and then add our next layer of ice cream and a next layer of cake. Once that's taken a nap in the blast, we're going to go ahead and add our frosting to it. They requested white fluffy frosting. Once the cake is all coated in that, it's time to add our chocolate shavings to the side. Crushing the chocolate shavings is probably one of my favorite parts of this job. Once we add those all around the side, we're gonna go ahead and write on top. They wanted me to write Dylan made this cake, but they also wanted Kit Kats on top, so I had to break those up into pieces and put them on top. Thank you guys again for 7.7 million. I didn't think it would ever get there that fast, and I appreciate your kindness, but...
This cake has so many Oreos. It has both Oreo frosting, Oreo side crumb, and more Oreos on top. IDK what you mean, because
so many of us can look at our lives, our jobs, our circumstances, and just not be happy. But so much of life is about perspective. This is an ice cream place, but millions of people enjoy watching me work at an ice cream place. In theory, you can do this with any job. I've seen many people on this app do it. It's just all about perspective. I'm sure we could find cool ways to make content at any job. At the end of the day, we have the power to make our lives look exciting and be exciting. We also get to choose to believe that or not. Consuming raw eggs can lead to salmonella infection, so it's a no-go, especially if you're pregnant. But if you've ever tried cookie dough or cake batter, you know how good it is. So instead, cake batter ice cream is always a good option because there's no raw eggs in it. We make ours by pouring in our sweet cream mix and then mixing it together with some yellow cake mix. This is a genius idea and it's one of our top sellers. Once that's all combined, it's time to add it to the ice cream machine. It still tastes like cake batter, but we don't add any raw eggs to it since every Tuesday is Tiny Tuesday. But for this week's Tiny Tuesday, we're doing something special. We play this game every once in a while where you get to choose whatever I make. To win the game, you have to be top comment on this video, and you can do whatever you need to do to become top comment. You can choose up to 2 ice cream flavors and 4 toppings. The last one was cotton candy with gummy bears. But if you're new to my videos, you may not know that I don't know much about Hanukkah, but many of you have been asking me to make something for Hanukkah. So I took sweet cream ice cream and I mixed in some blue sprinkles. And then I made a tiny waffle cone in the shape of a taco because it's been a long time since I did Tiny Taco Tuesday. And then I finished it off with some gold edible glitter on top. Could you please give me a summary of what exactly Hanukkah is? Because if I'm being honest, cinnamon ice cream, which is our fall flavor, I didn't want to go with the basic pumpkin spice this year. So you dump in your cinnamon and then we're going to pour in our sweet cream. Make sure you're watching what you're doing so you don't have any spills. Then it's time to scrape the bladder and make sure you get everything out of it. This batch is going to make 4 half pans of ice cream. Cinnamon is such an underrated flavor of ice cream. You have to try some. Once all 4 of our pans are full, we're going to tuck them in with some labeled parchment paper and put them down for their nap. We need to go clean up our mess from the... Every Tuesday is Tiny Tuesday. But for this week's Tiny Tuesday, we're doing something special. We play this game every once in a while where you get to choose whatever I make. To win the game, you have to be top comment on this video, and you can do whatever you need to do to become top comment. You can choose up to 2 ice cream flavors and 4 toppings. The last one was cotton candy with gummy bears. But if you're new to my videos, you may not know that cinnamon ice cream, which is our fall flavor, I didn't want to go with the basic pumpkin spice this year. So you dump in your cinnamon and then we're going to pour in our sweet cream. Make sure you're watching what you're doing so you don't have any spills. Then it's time to scrape the bladder and make sure you get everything out of it. This batch is going to make 4 half pans of ice cream. Cinnamon is such an underrated flavor of ice cream. You have to try some. Once all 4 of our pans are full, we're going to tuck them in with some labeled parchment paper and put them down for their nap. We need to go clean up our mess from the... While I take this ice cream out, let me tell you a story. Just the other day, my coworker Liv wasn't able to decorate this cake. And so she asked me to decorate it for her. And I'm so thankful that I did, because this cake ended up being for one of you. Ella, if you're watching, this cake was for you. Your super sweet mother ordered this cake for you to congratulate you and also encourage you to keep going. I know this semester's been tough for you. Between all the craziness in this world and all the changes at school, I'm sure it's been really hard. But as Ella's super sweet mother had me write on the cake, you can do the thing. So get out there and do it. Our vegan friends, our lactose intolerant friends, our dairy allergy friends, this one's for you. This is lemon sorbet. First we measure out our lemon base and then we put in our sorbet mix. Hit the button on the machine and then it's gonna make it just like ice cream. Once it's been extracted, it's time for the blast. All of our locations are required to have a yogurt, a sorbet, and then our ice cream flavors. This way we have an option for everyone. That includes everyone. It's been really busy so far this weekend, and it's only Saturday morning. Today I had to make a few batches of strawberry ice cream. I actually barely had a chance to even capture this on film. I wanted to record a more exciting flavor, but strawberry is what we got today. We need to write on our parchment paper, and then we're gonna tuck in our ice creams. Because you guys know they gotta go take their nap in the blast. It's been so hot outside, honestly, I could go take a nap in the negative 20 blast. Now it's time for our next batch. We're gonna pour in our flavoring, and now we're gonna pour in our sweet cream. And then once we pour all that in, we're gonna take our bladder, we're gonna squeeze the rest out, put it on the table to scrape the rest out. Once we get all that in there, it's time to start up the machine and make our next batch. Then it's time to extract it. Triple berry yogurt. It's one of our most tedious flavors to make. It's a yogurt that's a combination of blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. We have to weigh out each amount and then add the yogurt to it and blend it up. But look at those beautiful colors. And then we have some strawberry flavoring and some special ingredient. We blend that up and we're pouring all of that into the ice machine. Once we're done pouring all these in, we're gonna pour the rest of our yogurt mix in and then scrape the bladder and put the rest of that in too. Luckily, this isn't extremely popular because it's yogurt, so we don't have to make it super often. So I try to always make it so other people don't have to go through this long struggle. Once all that's in, we hit the ice cream button. Once the machine beeps, we're gonna extract it. It's gonna fill up 4 half pans. We're gonna write on our parchment paper and put those on and tuck them in. And then it's time for them to take a nap in the blast at negative 20. And then it's time for us to make another batch up. Today we're making our cotton candy ice cream. Or if you're under the age of 8, our blue ice cream. We need to measure out our flavoring, and then we're gonna get out our sweet cream and fill up the machine. Make sure you get all of the sweet cream out. That usually includes squeezing it and then scraping the rest of it off the bladder. We're gonna hit start of the machine. Once the machine starts to beep, we're gonna grab our 2 pans and begin the extraction. Once your first pan is full, make sure you close it and then move it aside, get the second pan down. And then we're gonna tuck them in because you know they're gonna take a nap in the blast. Make sure you get all 4 corners. Once they're all tucked in, it's time for them to take their nap in the blast. Once they've been in there for a few hours, it's time to move them to the back freezer. This brings them to an easier temperature for us to serve, around 0 degrees. We're gonna let the water out, and then it's time to make ice cream. This is what a day in my life looks like. We start with sweet cream ice cream. We pour that in the machine, let the machine run for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then we have sweet cream ice cream. Then it's gonna go in the blast to freeze up at negative 20. Next is French vanilla. Fun fact, one of the main ingredients in French vanilla is egg yolks, and that's where they get the color from. But they are processed, so they're safe to eat. After that is cake batter, which we actually make with real cake mix. And yes, we rinse in between certain flavors. Then we're making strawberry, which we flavor with strawberry puree. That actually has real seeds and everything in it. After strawberry, we're making some mint. And then we have chocolate. Chocolate's also another easy flavor because there's no flavorings added to it. Once we're done with that, we're gonna clean the machine, then we're gonna sanitize it and fill it up with water. This one is for all of our lactose intolerant friends. Today is day 11 and we're making sorbet, specifically raspberry sorbet. We're gonna scoop out our raspberries we need and we're gonna let them thaw out. And then we're gonna get our flavoring, we're gonna pour all that in the machine, and then we pour in our sorbet mix. And then we're gonna scrape out the bladder, make sure we get all of it out. We don't waste anything here, as you guys know now. Then we're gonna hit start of the machine. That's gonna go for about 8 to 10 minutes. Once it beeps, we're gonna hit the extract button, and open up the hatch, and let all of it out. This usually makes about 4 half pans. Once we've extracted all the sorbet, we're gonna write the name and the date on parchment paper, and then tuck them in. And then as you know, they go to sleep in the blast at negative 20.